Okay, so I was walking the girls on the beach last night and I saw these two girls setting up like what looked to be like a proposal setting. So it was like a giant heart with roses and it was so windy on the beach. And for some reason, my eyes were just drawn to this because I was like, wait a second. Is Divine Masculine in preparation mode for something more? Is that what's happening here? And it was so crazy because the wind was so much. It was blowing the roses. The girls were chasing some of the roses. And it was like, in my mind, I was like, why are they following through with this? Like the environment, like everything is not really in support of that happening right now, right? But they kept going, like they kept building this setting because that person was so determined to have that proposal, to have that higher level of commitment for their person. And so that to me seems to be the message coming through. So I'm going to dive into this channel a little bit here, but it just feels like weathering the storm. Like you're weathering the storm together is what's coming through. Maybe you're not physically together, but it does feel like there's a storm with the Nine of Swords and you're looking at it. Okay, you're looking at it. With the Moon card and the Seven of Wands coming through. There seems to be a lot of past energies at play here within this connection is what's coming through. A lot of ego is also coming through with the Moon and the Seven of Wands. I'll show you these cards as well. It just feels like there's a fight for something. It just doesn't feel like it's so easy right now. Or maybe there's even coming to an understanding that love isn't fairy tales and rainbows, that there are points where there will be fights and there will be weather, tumultuous weather, but we do have the Emperor and the Two of Cups. So this masculine energy is very grounded in love. They are very grounded just in love as a whole. They are grounded in love as a whole. They are grounding in themselves is also what's coming through. And with the Two of Cups here, they want to have something more to offer you. It's almost as if they're taking the time to ground into themselves, and 222 is on the timer, because they want to have more to offer you, because they want to offer you this higher level of commitment, because they want to be able to offer you the flowers, the setup on the beach. Like they want to be able to provide for you acts of love, expressions of love. I don't know why I'm also getting the energy that this is new for this person. But with the Five of Swords on the bottom and the Tower moment, you've been kind of fighting this. Ace of Cups and the High Priestess, Queen of Cups. Wow. No, this is actually crazy. This is crazy. I feel like there's just this whole unfolding of events that's taking place. You're fighting this connection, okay? You were fighting this. It almost led to your own Tower moment because like you could not give into this connection, but you couldn't. You literally could not give into this connection because this Divine Masculine wasn't ready. This Divine Masculine was not ready. And so because you fought for this, it led to some sort of ending, some sort of separation. We have the High Priestess card coming out. This is a rebirth. This is a renewal, but this is also a rising above. It feels like you're rising above into something, rising above and into something with the Ace of Cups. This could be a position of power with the Queen of Cups. And with the Ten of Cups, this is ultimately leading to a higher level of love. A higher level of love. This feels like you as Divine Feminine are moving into a time period where everything feels lighter, more effortless is what's coming through. Like your life just kind of feels natural. It feels effortless. Effortless love, effortless abundance, effortless receiving confirmation of love from the universe with the Ten of Cups. But this feels like it's going to translate into a person. This feels like a person who is coming in to match this vibration, to match this frequency of love energy that you are entering into with the Two of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. There are people who are going to lose access to you at this time. There are people who have to lose access to you at this time in order for things to move forward in this brand new and wonderful way for you. We do have 444 in the timer as well. Yeah, there's going to be people upset over losing access to you. Oh no, my God. I am not joking right now when I say that I have never noticed that there are two swans on this Two of Swords card. Whenever I've seen this Two of Swords card in the past, it's always been like, nope, X, nope, not this person, move on, next. I have never, in the years that I've had this deck, had my eyes opened to there being a swan. And this is divine timing. This feels like you. This feels like divine masculine energy here. Divine masculine wants to come forward. Why are there bells around their neck? It's almost like it's being stopped. This is divine intervention is what it feels like. Divine intervention because something needs to happen. Something, in order for things to move forward, you actually need this time of separation. In order for things to move forward in a wonderful and positive new birth kind of way, divine intervention. Oh my God. Why doesn't Spirit want this connection together right now? I'm hearing because there's work that you both need to do. There's work that you both need to do. This is definitely giving me twin flame journey vibes. And I kind of strayed away from using that word for quite a while here because it got a little, I don't like identifying too much with something so much that it ends up controlling the outcome or the narrative. But this does feel like twin flame separation. Two people who genuinely, like, this is matching energy. Like, both of you want to be together. Both of you want to be in love together. With the Queen of Swords and the Strength card coming out, Page of Cups, this feels like a revelation for you. This feels like something needed to happen. You had to be the change in this relationship. Like, it almost feels like you had to make the difficult decision here as well. You had to make this difficult decision. It's almost, I feel like you're very in connection to God, the universe at this time. So you could be very spiritual. You could even be a healer of some sort. Your person is very much not. I feel like you've always led your person into connection with God, Spirit, Source. But now it's almost like God wants to give them the chance to come forward, to fight for that connection. With the Five of Cups here. I just hear Spirit asking, are you going to put this one down now? Like, are you going to let this one go? Are you going to put this one down? Are you going to let this one go? With the Nine of Cups, the Death, and Transformation. It's strange. And I just want to make sure this doesn't disappear. It's strange because I feel like you're not going to repeat a cycle here. Like, you're not even just setting this down to walk forward. You are diving in. Like, you're letting your whole self go. And I think that's why this death card is showing up. You're letting your whole self go. You're choosing complete renewal. You are not going to be the same person when it comes to love, like in love with another. You are not going to be the same person that you've always known with the Ace of Swords. This is something different with the Six of Pentacles. It's almost as if you're going to finally allow the masculine energy to come forward to you, to pour into you, to allow that relationship to be equal give and take. This feels so balanced. It feels balanced, like by the heavens is what's coming through. You are no longer settling for less than. You are no longer allowing less than with the Eight of Cups. You're getting closer. You're getting closer to what you're searching for. You're getting closer. With the Empress energy and the Justice that keeps showing up on the bottom of the deck, you're getting closer. There's a very romantic energy surrounding this love connection that's coming in for you. It's very, very romantic. It makes you smile and it makes you laugh a lot. I am seeing you let go each time, kind of let go. I'm going to dive a little bit further into this. For those of you who are not already subscribers, subscribe in my bio to have access to a more in-depth channel. So I'm going to do that right away here. And as always, if you do feel called to receive a personal private session, click the link in my bio to visit my website. There is something quietly extraordinary about watching someone build something beautiful in the middle of wind. Not metaphorical wind, real wind. The kind that takes what you have carefully arranged and scatters it before you have finished placing it. The kind that makes the whole endeavor look slightly absurd from the outside. Why continue? Why persist? Why not simply wait for better conditions or accept that today is not the day for this particular act of love? But they did not stop. They chased the roses across the sand. They rebuilt what the wind undid. They kept constructing the heart, piece by piece, in the middle of weather that had no interest in cooperating with their intentions. And watching someone refuse to let the conditions determine whether or not they showed up for the person they loved, something opened up in me that I have been sitting with ever since. Because I think that image is about you, about your connection, about the thing that is happening right now between you and someone whose timing has been terrible and whose love has been real and whose readiness has been the most frustrating, most tender, most complicated part of the entire story. Let me start at the beginning, or at least the part of the beginning that matters most. There was a version of this connection that was not ready, and you knew it. Not in the clean, logical way of someone who has evaluated the evidence and reached a conclusion. In the other way, the way that lives in the body, that shows up as a tightness in the chest when you tried to fully lean in, a hesitation that you could not always explain to the person asking for your explanation. Something in you kept saying, not yet, even when another part of you was desperate for the answer to be now. And so you fought it, not because you did not want it, but because wanting something that is not yet ready for you is one of the most disorienting experiences a person can have. You were trying to protect yourself from the particular pain of being fully present in a connection that was only partially meeting you, of giving everything to something that could not yet hold everything, of loving someone completely while they were still learning what complete even meant for them. That fight was not weakness. That was wisdom that arrived before you had the language for it. But here is where it gets painful, and I think you know this part of the story from the inside. The tension between wanting the connection and knowing it was not yet what it needed to be eventually reached a breaking point. Something ended, or shifted so significantly that it felt like ending. A separation arrived, not necessarily a clean or chosen one, but the kind that happens when two people are circling something real without yet being capable of landing in it together. And in the aftermath of that, you were left with a particular kind of grief that is very difficult to explain to people who have not felt it. It is not the grief of loving someone who did not love you back. They loved you. That was never the question. It is the grief of a connection that was real and mutual and genuinely meant something interrupted, not by absence of feeling, but by absence of readiness. The grief of rightness and wrong timing occupying the same space simultaneously, refusing to resolve into something similar. You carried that grief quietly, and in the carrying of it, something began. What nobody tells you about the seasons of separation that feel like punishment is that they are frequently the most productive seasons of your life. Not productive in the external, visible sense. Not the kind of productivity that other people notice or praise, but the interior kind, the slow, unglamorous, completely invisible work of becoming someone who can actually hold what they have been reaching for, of developing the emotional intelligence, the self-knowledge, the grounded sense of your own worth that transforms love from something you hope to receive into something you know how to inhabit. You did that work. In the quiet, without an audience and without a guarantee that it was leading anywhere. And here is the deep realization that I think changes the entire shape of this story. The separation was not a failure of the connection. It was the condition the connection required in order to become what it was always meant to be. Two people cannot grow into the version of themselves capable of a truly balanced, truly reciprocal love while they are together if being together allows them to avoid the growing. Sometimes the most loving thing the universe does is create the space that neither person would have chosen voluntarily. The space was not punishment. It was preparation. Now, let me tell you what is happening on the other side of that space. The masculine energy in your life, the person whose readiness you were waiting for, whose depth you sensed before they had fully accessed it themselves. They are in a different place now. Not the place you needed them to be years ago, which would have saved you both considerable pain. But the place they needed to arrive at on their own terms through their own process, without being carried there by your spiritual awareness or your willingness to do the emotional work for both of you. They are grounding. Coming into themselves in a way that has a different quality than before. Less about managing the surface and more about building something real underneath it. And what is driving that grounding is not ambition or circumstance or the general pressure of life demanding more from them. It is you, not your presence, your absence. The space you created, voluntarily or not, gave them the unobstructed view of what they were in danger of losing. And people change for many reasons, but one of the most reliable catalysts for genuine transformation is the clear, unignorable understanding of the cost of not changing. They are building the proposal setting in the wind. That is what their current internal work actually looks like. Imperfect conditions, continued effort, determination to have something real to offer when the moment arrives. And now something is shifting in you too. And I want to speak to you directly about this because it matters more than almost anything else in this entire message. You are rising into something, not recovering, not returning to who you were before the difficulty. Rising into a version of yourself that the difficulty made possible. Lighter in a specific way, as though something heavy that you had been carrying so long, you stopped noticing its weight has finally been set down. Things that used to require enormous effort are beginning to feel natural. Love that used to feel like something you had to earn or manage or carefully tend to keep alive is beginning to feel like something that simply flows toward you, through you, from you, without the constant expenditure that exhausted you in the past. That shift is not accidental. It is the result of every hard season you moved through without abandoning yourself in the process. But there is also a cost to this rising, and I want to name it honestly. Not everyone in your current life will fit into the space you are moving into. Some people have had access to you that was only possible when you were in a lower, more contracted version of yourself. As you expand, that access naturally ends. Not through dramatic confrontation necessarily, but through the simple incompatibility of where you are going and where certain dynamics require you to stay. Some of those people will be upset about it. The intensity of their upset will reflect how much they were relying on your contraction to maintain a particular dynamic. And feeling the weight of that reaction is understandable. You have always been someone who takes the impact of your choices on other people seriously. But their discomfort with your growth is not your instruction to stop growing. Here is what I find most extraordinary about this entire journey. And this is the unexpected emotional truth that I think will stay with you long after everything else fades. You have been leading this person toward something greater for as long as you have known them. Your spiritual awareness, your connection to something larger than yourself, your ability to sense and navigate the invisible dimensions of a situation, all of that has been quietly, consistently creating a path that they have been following even when they did not know they were following it. And now the universe is asking you to step back from that role. Not permanently, not as a withdrawal of care, but as an act of genuine love, the kind that trusts another person enough to let them find their own way to the thing rather than always being the one who brings them there. The invitation being extended to the masculine energy right now is to come forward on their own, to fight for this connection with their own resources, their own courage, their own developing relationship with something greater than themselves. And the invitation being extended to you is to let them try, to release the outcome long enough for them to have the chance to choose it freely. What comes when both of those invitations are accepted? When you have fully released the old version of how love has operated for you. And when they have fully stepped into the version of themselves capable of meeting you, is something that looks and feels completely different from everything that preceded it. Equal. That is the word that keeps surfacing. Not equal in the simplified sense of identical contribution, but equal in the deeper sense of mutual investment, mutual presence, mutual willingness to be vulnerable and honest and fully seen without retreating to the safety of distance or performance. You have not experienced love like that, not in this connection, and possibly not anywhere. Love that does not require you to give more than you receive. Love that does not ask you to make yourself smaller so the other person can feel larger. Love that simply holds you as you are completely, without the invisible conditions that most love quietly carries. That is what is coming. And you are getting closer to it with every step you take in the direction of your own wholeness. The joy of it. This is what I want to leave you with, because the seriousness of the journey deserves to be balanced, but balanced by the genuine lightness of what waits at the end of it. What is coming makes you laugh. Really laugh in the unguarded way that only happens when you feel completely safe with someone. It makes you smile in moments when you are not expecting to smile. It carries a quality of romance that is not performed or constructed, but simply present. Natural, warm, easy in the way that only real things are easy. You have been so serious about love for so long, carrying its weight so carefully, navigating its complexity with such sustained attention and effort. What is coming lets you put all of that down. Not because love becomes careless or shallow or less meaningful, but because when love is genuinely balanced, genuinely mutual, genuinely held by two people equally, it stops being something you have to work so hard to maintain and becomes something you simply get to live inside. you are getting closer. Every layer you release, every old pattern you choose not to repeat. Every moment you choose yourself rather than the version of yourself that love once required you to shrink into. You are getting closer. And the storm that preceded this, the wind that scattered what you were trying to build, the difficult seasons, the separation that felt like losing, all of it was the weather that two determined people were always going to have to build through. Not despite each other, together.